How do we attract anything we want by letting go? That's the million-dollar question. I've gone to the deepest depths of research to come to this conclusion as well. I've researched the quantum physics, I've researched the quantum mechanics, the Joe Dispenza, the manifestation, the metaphysics, everything you can think of, and I got burnt out on all of it because it wasn't as easy as everyone led on. Yes, I was able to achieve some of the things I wanted, but I felt empty on the inside. So I want to talk about how we achieve true peace, true success, and make sure it's everlasting. And that is going to be how we attract anything by letting go. So if you don't have a lot of time, I've got 3 core mechanisms that I want you to master. 1, you get what you are. You do not get what you want. What you are is a product of thoughts, emotions, actions, behaviors, and beliefs that are resonating at a certain frequency. If you are below this line, you are resonating in a state of force, things like pride, fear, and shame. You are sucking energy out of life in this state. If you are resonating at a state above this, with courage, reason, love, enlightenment, you have life-affirming energy where you become attractive. So, you get what you are. Whatever you think, whatever you feel, whatever you hide from the world, you cannot hide from the universe. Number 2, we influence life and the things we experience with our inner perspective, our point of view. The most successful people know how to turn negative things into positive situations because seeking a positive experience is subconsciously saying you're having a negative one. But turning a negative experience into a positive one is inherently positive. And this is how energy communicates with the universe. Now, number 3, you attract when you don't need. When you need something, when you're coming from a state of want, that's a state of desire, which is a state of force. So you are subconsciously communicating energetically that you do not have something by wanting something. But if you do the inner work and spend time investing in your inner world, you're going to come to a place of inner realization where you are fulfilled. You are fulfilled with the energetic experience you are looking for. And if you can do this, you will unlock the energetic state that becomes attractive. So those are the 3 things that you need to master if you're short on time. But if you want to stick around, we're going to be covering a bunch of stuff. The ultimate principle is going to be a summary of the core pieces of wisdom that you need to live your life by. Not only logically, but through actions. Because when you can live it through actions, you embody. So we're going to cover the ultimate principle. This is what you need to master. You do not attract by commanding reality. As much as you watch this content, as much as you consume this information, your illusion of control, your ego thinking it has control, is the thing preventing you from getting what you want. You attract by ceasing to contradict the things you desire. So that's going to be the first piece of this right now. You need to be in energetic alignment. Because think about it. Remember what we were saying about desire? If you desire something, you're saying, I want that. Well, what happens when you get that? You're convincing yourself that it's going to make you happy. But that want and that desire is energetically signaling something different subconsciously. You might be consciously telling yourself, I don't need that to be happy. But energetically, you're signaling something different. And that's the issue. That's where things get complicated. So point 2 is when you let go, you send your energy back to harmony. If you're living in a state of force, a state of pride, a state of shame, that is falsehood. That is the general consensus about this wisdom. The unified field, the quantum source energy, whatever you believe and whatever you subscribe to, is already abundant. It's already complete. But living down here is illusion. Living down here is falsehood. So when you can let go of these states, no longer allow them to dictate your inner state, you are going to naturally rise into truth. Because the truth is consistent. The truth is present. Whether you believe the world is shitty or not, the universe is abundant nonetheless. It just depends what you hold in your inner perspective, or your inner level of consciousness. So that's point 2. When you can free your energy from the lower states, you're going to naturally harmonize with the more elevated states you seek. When the inner noise stops asserting this separation, this illusion of lack, what is aligned simply appears. So the third point of the ultimate principle is natural, effortless. That's supposed to be an F. I'm just going to draw a magnet to say attraction. Natural, effortless attraction is a byproduct of this state. Like, this is the information that people are not telling you about and not breaking down. And this is a state that's readily available to you all. Now, attraction through letting go is done by energetic alignment. This is the ultimate principle. It is not done through mental intention, because logic only gets you so far. Logic and reason aren't even the most elevated states. If you're anything like me, you've probably gotten to a place where your logic, your intellect, your effort, your hard work is actually something that exhausts you. You do not want that type of life. If you are watching this content, I know you want peace of mind. I know you want life to feel energetically harmonious. I know you want things to feel effortless, like they're naturally coming to you and you're not experiencing that internal conflict. Now, the whole point of this video is going to show you that want and attracting are not the same thing. Wanting is desire in a lower state, and attracting is a state of being where things come to you as a product of what you energetically emanate from the unified field. It's going to be important to realize that things in the world are neutral. Personally, for me, I want a hot wife, a fast car, a healthy family, and a very successful business. But those are neutral things. Like, those things inherently have no emotional charge. What has the emotional charge is me and my perspective of it. So let's break that down. Now, if I say something like, I want those things, that's me unconsciously saying, I'm unconsciously saying, I don't have. And when I'm saying I don't have, guess what energy I'm channeling? Right here. When I'm saying I want something, this is what my energy is doing. Now, the field of wanting calibrates below 200 on the map of consciousness, right? That's what I'm trying to showcase here with lack. To want something is to affirm unconsciously that you do not have it. The nervous system contracts. So this is what happens when we're in this state. The nervous system contracts. Your energy tightens up. just separate this for now. This is why people say you are a shell of yourself. You are consuming energy. You're not radiating it. You are sucking energy out of the room because your nervous system has contracted. You're going into a survival state of fear. So your body is entering fight or flight and using all of its energy and resources to protect itself. But it's just a psychological and biological experience. Letting go teaches us how to navigate those feelings, how to not allow them to define our moment, to make conscious decisions in the direction of the life we want to experience, and just dissolve the feeling that keeps us stuck. The energy you're signaling to the universe is deficiency. Your energy is deficient. This means that you're saying, my gas tank is on empty. I'm running out of gas. I'm running out of fuel because I have this desire and my nervous system is entering this state. The universe mirrors the inner field. This is what all the greatest sages of all time were saying. Seek first the kingdom of heaven, and the rest shall be added unto you. Right? This is what the mirror principle is. The outer world is a reflection of the inner one. If you want to experience heaven, you must unlock that inner state yourself, and then everything reflects like that in the external world. Force repels what it grasps for. So this force, if you're in this state, you're repelling. Why do you think people want what they can't have? Why do you think the rich get richer and the poor get poorer? Because they're not trying to force something. The rich are not trying to force themselves to be rich. They're already rich. A good-looking girl has guys lined up for her. She's not trying to force that. But both of those people, whether rich or a good-looking girl, they just are being, right? Like you see how whether the girl goes to the gym and takes care of herself, or the rich guy built the business and found the success, they invested in their inner state and made choices in alignment with the life they want to experience that made them magnetic. They don't want things because they have. Once we kind of break this down and you have this fundamental framework, we covered the ultimate principle, and now we covered how wanting is lack. We're going to dive into letting go and surrender. When you understand how to surrender, you're going to surrender all these negative emotions and naturally rise into the state you seek. Now, let's dive into letting go. Because if you can let go, you are going to remove the repellent, right? They say to resist is to persist. If you are resisting these states of survival, if you are resisting these states of negativity, you are going to keep yourself juxtaposed there through a dual polar energy. So let's break down why letting go removes this force. Trent says, 2, so let go, accept anything that is happening by. Yes, Trent, that's like the fundamental premise of this. But I want you to know there's 2 sides to the equation. You have to let go energetically, right? If you want to find the girl of your dreams, it's not about giving up on that. It's about saying, I am 100% the best Grant at all times. So I do not care if that girl rejects me. I do not care if that girl rejects me, because I know I'm doing all the things I need to do. I know I'm a great human. I know I work hard. I know I'm building my future. I have enough confidence in myself, and I'm letting go of the need to be validated by the external world. That's what the internal process of letting go is. Externally, this frees up your energy to take action. So instead of having your energy focused on the lack, oh my God, she's going to reject me, your nervous system is contracting. Oh my God, you're consuming all this energy. You're not like that anymore. You stand tall. You got a swag, a confidence, a presence to you. And you have no need to impress anyone, to prove anything. That is what letting go is. Does that make sense, Trent? Now let's break down how when you learn to surrender and let go, you're going to remove this force. Letting go removes resistance. Trent says, last time you said to keep finding the love and joy in everything I come across because I could feel the energy in my heart. Is that still the same as letting go? Yes. That is consciously choosing the experience, right? Essentially, the idea behind this is like, we're going to get into it. We're going to cover that in this video. Don't worry. I'm going to make sure we get into that. Right now, we're just covering like the basic framework of things. Like in the ultimate principle, I had to let you know, like, hey, things are energy. Stop looking to the material world. Then I had to break down, hey, I know you want to attract stuff into your life. I know you want things, but this want is lack. Boom, covered that. Now we're in the letting go and surrender. So if you can learn to master the surrender, the act of energetically letting go, you're going to be able to get rid of every suppressed emotion that you are holding on to. Now, I want you to think of emotions like encapsulated thousands of thoughts. Think about when you enter a state of fear. Think about when you enter a state of judgment. You have an endless supply of negative thoughts coming to validate that. Because when you're coming from the state of survival, it becomes a feedback loop. You have a certain thought, which validates that certain emotion, which produces more thoughts. So you just get on this endless loop. And then what's happening to your energy? It's just getting sucked out of the room because you're just spiraling down. You're right here. You want to go up, but you're just headed on a downward course, a downward trajectory. Letting go is all about taking our energy back from repressed and suppressed emotions. The fear, the guilt, the unworthiness, the pride, because these act as an invisible counterforce to your opposing conscious desire. Let's break that down. So your repressed emotion is an invisible ceiling. Maybe the E comes first. I before E except after C. I remember that, but we're not going to fix that. So I want you to know this invisible force is a product that is opposing your conscious desires. This repressed emotion opposes what you want. Think about that. If you want the business, which is your conscious desire, but you do not feel worthy because your high school teacher gave you a C on a project you worked your entire life for, that repressed emotion is opposing that desire. Does that make sense? Drop a 1 in the chat if that's making sense, ladies and gentlemen. You can visualize, affirm, or plan endlessly. You can do all of those things, but the repressed emotional charge communicates more powerfully than thought. Emotion, emotion, is energy in motion. Guess what language the universe speaks? Energy. You can consciously tell yourself whatever you want. But we know the conscious mind is only 10% of our power. So let's break that down. We're going to go like this. 10%. 90%. This is your conscious mind. I'm just going to put a C. I'm going to put a subconscious mind, SBC, right here. You're telling yourself you have this desire. But all of this repressed negative energy down here is dominating your electromagnetic field. It's dominating what you're communicating to the energy. Even though you're saying, hey, I've got positive desires for myself. I want to be sober. I want to start the business. I want to have the family. There's just a disconnect there. We need to learn how to overcome this disconnect. And it's not through the shit that we're already doing, that we're already talking about on the internet. It's not through watching more manifestation videos. It's not through going to your chiropractor. It's not through getting your chakras balanced. It's not through wearing crystals. That's all external things. The reason none of this stuff works for a lot of people is because they continue to look externally. If you haven't been able to tell already, this is all going on in our inner world. Now, letting go neutralizes these counter frequencies. When you let go, you learn to let go of this negativity. You learn to say, hey, it's okay that I had that thought, but it doesn't define me. It's okay that I cheated on my diet. I'm going to be better tomorrow. This is the first step. It's the awareness. It's not allowing yourself to cop out. It's not allowing yourself to, what's the word? Like cheat your way to where you want to go. It's just letting go of the internal blockages that is preventing you from taking effortless action. That's all it is. Now, when the emotional residue around a subject dissolves, right? Whether you got a bad grade in school and now you're afraid to start a business, or you got rejected by the love of your life. When you can dissolve that energy, that emotional residue, that corresponding outer resistance vanishes. This is really the process of letting go. Like, this is really the process of surrender. If you can remove the internal blockages, the illusions that you hold on to, the thoughts and emotions that validate your forceful state, you will experience an instant shift. You can do it right now on this live stream. That's how powerful it is. You will literally experience an internal shift immediately. This is why this information is so powerful, because we're no longer going to look through X, Y, and Z out in the material world to get what we were searching for. Now, the how of manifestation is handled by the field's self-organizing intelligence once the internal opposition ceases. Let me say that again. The how of manifestation is handled by the unified field's self-organizing intelligence once the internal opposition ceases. I feel like we got to write that one down. So you can leave the how to the universal organizing power. This is what your ego holds on to. It's the how. This is the thing that you need to dissolve and let go. This is going to handle itself if you can master these teachings. Now, when we can let go of this desire, when we can let go of this wanting, of this lack, everything you experience naturally becomes preference. right? It's no longer something you need to be validated by. After surrender, after letting go, what remains isn't craving, but it's presence without attachment. When you surrender, you experience presence, not attachment. This was the state of force. This is the state of power. This is independent. This is dependent on something. This is independent. This is the source of what we once sought, and this is the void which causes us to seek. We're attached to things because it validates a void that we hold internally. Now, when you enter the state, you can prefer success. You can prefer abundance. You can prefer a relationship. You can prefer creativity and success. Yet you no longer need them for identity stabilization. That's the big aha moment. You can prefer success. You can prefer happiness. You can prefer love. You can prefer all the things that you desire, but you're just no longer placing the weight of your identity on it. You're saying, I'm no longer going to be attached to these things. I realize that I'm all good without it. I realize that I can be the source of what I seek. And it all starts with an energetic presence. You no longer need to be attached. Drop a 1 in the chat if this is making sense, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know if this is making sense. And I want some feedback. Do you have a tough time implementing this into your life? I know I do. It's hard to just surrender. It's hard to just walk around like this. But this is the key. This is why the spiritual greats and sages are few and far between. Because it takes courage to let go of the ego entirely. That's the power in all this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the detachment lifts the vibration from lack to allowing. When you detach, and let's say you're holding on to this energetic level of survival right here, you let go of this ceiling, your energy is naturally going to rise. You're eventually going to move up energetically. That's why it's called letting go. You're letting go of the things that are keeping you stuck in the experience you don't want to have. Now, reality can now deliver outcomes freely because your energy is non-oppositional. Don't be an op. Don't be a universal op. Don't be an op to God and the things he's doing for your life. Die Player says, how do you let go when you have bills? It's not that you're never going to pay the bills. It's not that you're never going to have financial abundance. It's that you can't let the fact that paying bills on the first of every month sends you into a fight or flight state where your survival mechanism kicks in. You need to do the work. Like, this is why this information is so important. Because when you can start to realize how powerful you truly are, that you are bigger than the identity you hold, you experience an energetic shift internally. You're like, who cares if I have to pay those bills? Who cares if I'm late on the payment? Who cares if my credit card has interest? Because I believe in myself that I'm going to do something great. I'm going to build a business. I'm going to find that financial abundance. You see how the energy shifts from that state? Does that make sense, Die Player? It's a complete detachment from external things. It's saying that you can be happy and peaceful even though you have bills to pay. And when you're more happy and peaceful, you're going to have more clarity and peace of mind to take action on the things that you know you need to take action for. But if you're in a state of fear, knowing that you have to pay bills, You're going to come home from work and avoid the realization that you're not taking action in the direction of starting the business you want or unlocking the financial freedom. It's all like an energetic thing internally. And that's like, I think the biggest thing that's tough for people to understand is we were programmed to plug into the matrix of the external world, to plug into the things that we can see, touch, taste, hear, and smell, the 5 senses. Then we identify with those things. When our heart rate increases and our breath gets shallow and there's a pretty girl that we're scared to say hi to, we identify with that feeling. Instead of being able to dissolve that, slow your heart rate down, slow your breathing, XYZ, then your energy comes back. You're like cool with or without anything going on. Oh, Die Player said, it's not the fear of having bills to pay. It's the fear of the same shit job forever. But yeah, I could just quit, but then it's like, then what? Okay, this is a prime example. Die Player, I'm gonna do this for you right now. You're describing to me fear. You're saying, what if I stay in this shit job forever? That's a feeling. Tell me right now, does that start with a feeling or does that start with a thought? Is it the feeling of fear that you're going to be stuck here forever that causes you to think those things? And then you're like, then I'm going to quit. But as soon as you start to think, oh my God, what happens if I quit? You feel more fear. You see how it's all the energy? Now I want you to do me a favor. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Make sure the exhale is longer. 3 seconds in, 5 seconds out. 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. This is how you can literally take back control of your nervous system. This is literally how you can take back control of your inner state. So you no longer feel the fear. When you come from this place of peace of mind, then you can be like, hey, I'm going to go show up for that shitty job that I'm afraid that I'm going to have to work for forever. But with the extra 4 hours when I clock out at 5 to 9, I'm going to learn a skill that pays me more and gives me freedom so I can work remotely from home. That's the creative evolution. It's about becoming creative instead of just defaulting to a survival state. So I hope that makes sense. Now, let's talk about the mechanism of surrender in operation. So we've covered everything A to Z for what I wanted to talk about. But what does this actually look like if I were to break down the process for you? Let's say an emotion arises and you're like, I need more money, right? That lack, that fear that you're not going to be able to pay the bills. You have to observe the underlying fear or the insufficiency without resistance. Because odds are you're going to resist that feeling. You're going to be like, I do not want to feel that. I do not want to feel that scarcity. And what you resist persists. So that feeling of lack is going to consistently persist because you're not allowing yourself to feel it, to transcend it. You have to allow the charge in your body to exhaust itself. You just need to let it take its course. Stop feeding it. Just allow it to do its thing. Just slow down and breathe. As the neutrality returns, as you're just back being aware, you're not really swayed by a positive or negative thing, the mind quiets. You're not going to have thoughts. Inspiration or correct action for the next steps for you often appear spontaneously. That's what I was trying to describe when Die Player was like, I'm afraid of the fear, the shitty job that I'm going to have forever. Well, if you can stop resisting that fear, creative solutions will naturally come to you because you're no longer identifying with the identity that I'm going to be stuck in this shitty job for years. Now, from the observer's seat, from this state of awareness, attraction is no longer personal magnetism, but field coherence. You are coherent with a more powerful energetic field. Your life begins to align to the least resistant channel. All this fear is hella resistance. It's like swimming upstream. If you can let go of that, you're going to experience the energy of swimming downstream. The event, resources, or people that match that level of clarity and that energetic sensation you have through surrender are going to naturally appear into your life without pursuit. I promise. Now, here's the overall big picture pattern. When you release the chronic emotions and lower states of energy that you're holding onto, your lives will reorganize without direct intent. I'm going to write that down. They're going to reorganize without direct intention. What does this mean? This means that new jobs, healed relationships, improved health are going to naturally find their way to you because they're going to be a product of who you've become. If you no longer identify and hold on to the fearful, anger-based states, you're going to move up to courage. You're going to have reason. You're going to be able to make the decisions that give the outputs from this level and transcend the outputs from this level. Cause and effect in the material sense become reversed. You're not saying, hey, once I get that new job, I'm no longer going to be afraid. You're saying, I'm no longer going to be afraid, which will lead to the new job. That's how things happen without direct intention. This is why they say, if you stop looking for love, it will find you. Because looking for love is lack. If you lack something, you are intentionally setting out to find it. You have a direct intention to validate that lack, to confirm that you don't have what you're looking for. But as soon as you let go, as soon as you stop looking, it finds you. That's just the general consensus with this information. Inner freedom precedes outer arrangement. Inner freedom comes first. Then you have outer success. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys like this, drop a like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.